You are now listening to the Dreamers Hub podcast. This podcast is about collaboration between the dreamers and the doers to inspire more people to do more of the things they enjoy doing. What up, everybody? My name is Nettie. Welcome back to the Dreamers Hub podcast. And if this is your first time here, welcome. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about safety nets. I know safety nets are probably a scary thing to have because most people, if you're similar to me, don't like to be called out on their shit. But I will say that considering the type of week I had, it's probably one of the most necessary things to have. And I would say, let's go ahead and, I should have Googled this before I started recording. Well, a safety net definition is a safeguard against possible hardships or adversity. Safety nets for me are me telling somebody I'm going to do something. So later on, if I'm doing the opposite of what I'm saying I'm going to do, that person has permission to call me out on it. That person has the permission to keep me in check. And it's just another way of accountability for whatever it is you're trying to do. So I don't think I realized the importance of what the safety net would become now that I've started, the YouTube and the podcast. So just kind of to give you a little bit of context as far as how my week's been, how I've been feeling. I did want to talk about this topic because it's very much the reason why you are listening to this now, and it's very much the reason why you may be even be watching this on YouTube. So I will say that I normally was not one of those people that gave myself safety nets just because I'd rather not say anything so I can't have anybody keep me accountable. But now that I've been more vulnerable and I'm practicing vulnerability and practicing getting uncomfortable, it's almost like me being that way has allowed for people to be okay with telling me either good feedback that I need to hear, or just feedback in general. So I'm appreciative of all that. It's definitely not one of those things that I considered that was going to come along, or one of those things that would tag along with doing this, especially just kind of just putting it out there too. But I'm so thankful for it. And I'll tell you that since I started the YouTube and the podcast, it's been a month now, and I was able to create content for the whole month of January. Thank you for those who have been supporting it, listening, watching, liking, subscribing, leaving reviews. I appreciate you. I obviously still have a job, so I work and create the content on the side. I try to finagle my schedule so I give myself time, but considering the last week I had a 6-day work week, 1 day off, and then I had to open. But the 6-day work week was basically all closing, so it means I'm basically at work pretty much all day, and I don't get home till nighttime. So I go in at daytime, and I'm not out till nighttime. And my job is not physical by no means, but I will tell you it's very mentally draining. Talking to people all day, dealing with certain situations, it can be very mentally draining, and that in itself is exhausting. So needless to say, I had a very exhausting week. And I definitely was not feeling inspired. I wasn't feeling motivated. I feel like just drained. And so going back to this safety net, right? I had put it out there that this is what I was going to do. I don't think I was really comfortable just saying like, oh, I want to make a YouTube channel, or, oh, I want to create content. I was never really comfortable doing it until I actually started posting. I will say it's gotten a little bit easier where I'm able to just like write out notes and just talk now. Whereas when I first started back like around the first week of December, right? But the 3 weeks before that, I spent like prepping. I would sit down, face the camera, and just talk to the camera and record, and then try to teach myself how to edit at the same time. So these are all the things I had to do, that I took upon myself to make sure that I was able to film it, create it, and post it. And not only that, but learning how to like hashtag, and like there's a lot that goes into it. I know YouTube looks really simple, but if you want to make it look good and you want to make it like valuable, there is some work that goes into it. And so that's kind of the approach I took to doing this, as well as the podcast, which podcasting is probably my favorite so far, just because it's simpler to edit. But nonetheless, I'm practicing both just because that's my goal for this year, is to continue making content on both. And just collaboration with people. I think that's one of the most beautiful things I've seen so far, and just being able to post about the projects that I'm creating, whether it's YouTube or podcast. It's really opened the doors to other worlds that I never knew before. And it's so awesome. The community around YouTube and the community around podcasting is amazing. I don't even know how to explain. It's super cool though. I'm really enjoying it. Like the people that I've been chatting with, the people that I've gotten to connect with, even some people that I would never have thought that I would be able to reach out to, considering the type of following they have. It makes you realize that the numbers don't really matter. Like the numbers, as far as like DMing somebody on social media and they have X amount of followers and I have X amount of followers, at some point they get to your message, and if they reply back, then awesome. And I was able to experience that this week, which is one of the reasons where I was like, dang, I was like, I'm feeling like shit, and I'm not feeling motivated, and I'm not feeling like creating anything. I just want to be in bed all day. But I will say that this week, and maybe it's the universe's way of telling me like, hey, like snap out of it. But I was able to chat with quite a few people that I probably would have never even ever talked to had I not, started creating content. I've embraced being able to say, like, this is what I do on the side, and these are my passion projects. And I feel like me embracing it and really speaking to it has really, since it's out there and it's out in the universe, it's really opened up many doors as far as just a dialogue with people that I would normally just never chat with, or wouldn't even care to reach out to, because in my mind, oh, this person has way too many followers. This week was pretty rough, I'm not going to lie. I feel like I had a pretty good run. I wrote down, like, prior to launching, I had pretty much every video planned out. I will tell you that this one and this podcast episode is not planned out. But the reason I wanted to record it is to talk about why I was even able to record it, which was safety nets. And again, I know people hate it, and I know people don't like being called out on their shit, but I'll tell you, because of the type of week I had, if it wasn't for me allowing myself to be vulnerable, and if it wasn't for me allowing myself to get uncomfortable, to even just say on, I think it was maybe Wednesday, I had posted on my Instagram story about how I was feeling unmotivated and uninspired to create. And in doing so, like, people reached out, and just like it didn't take him more than a minute to reply and say, hey, like, just keep going, or hey, snap out of it, or like, hey, remember, this is what you said you were going to do. And that accountability in itself really was just like, kicked me in the ass, and was kind of like, yeah, you're right. I did say I was going to do this. Yeah, you're right. Like, I've had a good run. Like, why am I giving myself such a hard time? Like, because I didn't have anything planned out in advance. So one, don't beat yourself up over it. If you're struggling with something or you're tired, it's okay to take a break. And that's what pretty much Wednesday through Friday was. It was just a break from everything to be able to kind of get myself back together. And even today, I kind of felt like, God, I really don't want to do this. I feel like there was all these signs this week telling me, like, this has to get done, right? This has to get done because people are counting on you. And that accountability is huge. Like, I love it. I would have never thought that safety nets were going to be like something I would be promoting. But I'm telling you, if it's a goal that you're trying to reach, give yourself a safety net. Tell your BFF, tell your family, tell your mom, tell somebody that's going to keep you in line and in check to make you reach that goal. Because I promise you, you will get there. I think more people got to realize that safety nets are healthy and a good way to keep yourself accountable. Although sometimes they suck. I mean, nobody wants to hear like the raw truth sometimes. And nobody wants to hear like how they messed up. But if you don't allow for people to tell you, you're never going to know your areas of opportunity. And you know damn well you're not perfect either. So allow for that, and you'll grow so much faster, and you'll open up your eyes so much quicker and improve and grow so much quicker than if you just would have not and just figured it out some other way, or some crazy thing happens that opens your eyes. Is why not avoid for some crazy event not to happen, to really allow yourself to give yourself the opportunity to not lose yourself within yourself, because the mind is very powerful, and I think you yourself can self-sabotage yourself if you allow yourself to. And this is where the safety net comes in. I will say that the people that you surround yourself with, or choose not to surround yourself with, can really affect your actions. I think it's okay for people to have, different group of friends depending on your mood. If you're in a party mood, you have those friends. If you're in a creative mood, you have those friends. If you're on a just chill vibe, you have those type of friends. It's okay to have different type of groups, mainly because you have different type of moods, and that's fine. You're not always going to want to party. You're not always just going to want to chill. You're not always going to want to create. If you allow yourself these little hubs, friends, families, however you're feeling, if you allow yourself these little hubs for you to have and dive into when necessary, I think those hubs can play a big deal in how you move forward. And any one of those hubs at any given time can motivate you when you yourself are not feeling motivated. They can keep you in check when you feel like slacking and you feel like nobody's watching. They can definitely call you out on your shit, which again is probably one of those things that you don't want to hear, but sometimes it's necessary. And I would almost say more often than not, it's probably more necessary than not necessary for you to know the truth about yourself. And let's face it, sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes we don't want to be called out on our shit. But if nobody else does it, then you're not going to do it for yourself. There's no way you're going to do that for yourself. Safety nets are necessary to keep you in line. They're necessary to keep you moving towards that goal, to keep you focused. Most importantly, though, most importantly, safety nets are there to save you from yourself. Trust that other people, the good people around you, have good intent to keep you in line, good intent to keep you in check. Trust that the people closest to you in the small circle that you have or big circle, whatever you have, whatever that circle is you trust in that circle to have the best intentions for you. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to leave a review on Apple Podcast. Make sure to follow the Instagram at the Dreamers Hub Podcast. Show some love anywhere and everywhere. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe the video. It does help me out a lot. Again, I appreciate your time. My name is Nettie, and I'm out. Peace.